Hi Mark, this is Jim Gillis with Win My Vote, and thanks so much for getting back to me. So I'm available typically Monday through Friday about 9 in the morning till about 12 noon. That's when I do a lot of busy work and some demos and that type of stuff. So that window is the most flexible for me. I'm available other times just with a little bit of notice, and we can work things out. So if you're not available during those times in the mornings during the week, let me know what a good time for you is, and I'll try to make myself available. So I figured I'd give you a quick little demo of the site now. So the idea of the site is that it is essentially an online version of the voter information guide. So a couple years ago in San Francisco, we had a 209-page voter information guide without any pictures, with a paragraph on a candidate, with mountains of information that no one wanted or would ever read about propositions and other things. So, and also I found out during that time of how expensive it was for the candidates to get a candidate statement in there. So for example, in the county of Los Angeles, if you want to run for sheriff and you want to get a candidate statement in the voter guide, it's $100,000. And that's English only. If you wanted to do English and Spanish, that's $200,000. So when I first heard that, I didn't even believe it. And then I ended up calling them up and asking them, and was really surprised that that's how it is. So I've looked at a couple of other counties that do the same thing, and they're all over the map from cost. Some are free, some cost huge amounts of money. So this platform is to give every voter in the country an alternative to that, one that they can actually use, and this is what it looks like, and I'll show you the links on the ballot itself. So this homepage is what we created this site, what you're seeing right now, essentially to test the back end. We haven't put any money into the front end at all, but it was to test the back end, and it was also to do the national student parent mock election, which was in 2016. It was about 5 million teachers and students. And it went really, really well, and I can tell you about the details around that. That's what really sort of made us move to, like, this is something really big that no one else is doing, and we couldn't figure out why. And I'll try to explain that to you when I talk to you live. But essentially, a voter signs up for free, just the same way they would sign up for Facebook or Twitter or any of these other social media sites. And with just an email and a zip code, they can get their own ballot. So this is what the 2016 ballot looked like. This is the one that we used for the National Student Parent Mock Election. And on here is sort of like your home page. So as a voter, I can check on my voter registration status. I can apply to vote by mail or vote absentee. I can check on my districts and make sure that my zip code lines up with those. I can find my polling place. I can look at what are called trusted sources, and those are groups and organizations and individuals that make recommendations and endorsements, so I can see what candidates they're endorsing and their positions on propositions and measures. I can also check on important dates here. I can add this to any one of my online calendars, so I can get reminders in my calendar. I can print out my favorites. I can print out the whole ballot. I can do a lot of things. I can share on social media. I can create a group and make endorsements, and then reach out to friends and say, hey, here's this group. You can join the group and weigh in on endorsements, or you can follow the endorsements. There's lots of different things that you can do. There's also a comment board. Now this comment board would only be for people in California in the presidential race. So as I scroll down, the comment would only be for U.S. Senate in California. And then when I go down here, you can see City Council Position 8. Comment on this board would only be people that are in San Francisco City Council, Position 8, right? So it would it really limits it so that it's not open to everyone's comments. So here, you would be able to really comment on local races and exchange with other local voters. So I'll show, and then the propositions, I can give you a quick little example of the proposition. So the proposition, well, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to go back here and show you what a candidate profile looks like. So if I click on the candidate, they And sorry about the delay. It's not the website. It's the connection, and my laptop has got a ton of stuff running on it. This candidate profile is created, built, and managed by the candidate. The same way the candidate would create their own Facebook page and update it, or their own Twitter account and post tweets to, they create their own candidate profile, and they update it, and they can switch. And it's as easy as just clicking on here and putting in a YouTube search URL, a share URL in here, and it they have a new video. It updates real time. Here I can see the groups and organizations and individuals that are endorsing this candidate, and again, that's super easy for those groups to do. They just click on the favorite candidate. It says, do you want to do a written or a video endorsement? You say yep, share a URL, and the URL from YouTube, they can cut and paste it in there, and they've now endorsed. So as a voter, I can see here and I can go, okay, well, I like this guy, so I want to see what he has to say.
Hillary Clinton. I will be voting for Hillary Clinton. I avoid talking politics on this channel.
And he goes on and has a pretty interesting, perspective on why he's going to support the candidate. And again, I can do it straight from here as well. I can scroll through and see all of them and then just click straight through.
Leadership is not yelling and screaming and intimidating. Right? Yeah, she knows.
And then I can go down, I can see candidate, has options here of doing issue statements. So they can upload a video or an image, or make it, whatever they kind of want. There's lots of flexibility there.
She's a history maker, an inspiration, and face of women's rights around the world, an international diplomatic heroine, and the live embodiment.
And then with that, I can go back to my ballot, and then I can, click on the next candidate here, and I can hear what they have to say.
I would feel terrible if Donald Trump gets elected, and terrible if Hillary Clinton gets elected. Donald Trump says despicable things, but Hillary Clinton has a terrifying track record. Catastrophic.
Yeah, and then let's say I don't know much about Jill Stein, and I say, wow, and I watch that video, and I'm kind of impressed, and I go over here, and I want to see the groups and individuals and people that are endorsing her and what they have to say.
You are endorsing Dr. Jill Stein. You were a surrogate for Bernie Sanders. You spoke all over the country for him.
Yeah, and then I can say, wow, and I can share this with my friends, or I can, let's say I decide I'm going to favorite Jill Stein. Now when I go back to my ballot, you can see that she's moved into that first position. Her nameplate's turned green, so I can easily see it on my cell phone if I'm doing it that way. And then I can, go down to the next race, and so on and so on and so on. I can go through all of these races and do that. And I can also do the same thing with propositions and measures. I can click on the proposition, I can read about it, I can see the full language of the proposition. These all start as undecided. But then I can look down here and see groups and organizations that are supporting this proposition and groups and organizations that are opposing the proposition. Also keep in mind, these are my trusted sources. They're not, it doesn't go to the highest bidder, it goes to people that I've selected as a trusted source. So for example, I know Ethan Behrman, I really like his politics, so I selected him as a trusted source, and now I want to hear what he has to say about this proposition.
When does temporary mean temporary? Well, it doesn't here in California when it comes to money and taxes. We passed Proposition Board of Education, a county board of education, and a district board of education. All other states have two, state level, district level. Then I say absolutely no. By the way, I have kids in public schools in California. I want the best public schools. I still say no on Prop 55.
Yeah, and let's say I say, okay, I want to agree with him. I click no. And then when I go back to my ballot, you'll see 55, the no is very prominent there. And then these percentages up here, that again has to do with the National Student Parent Mock Election. They'll be live on the general version as well, but it'll give you an idea of how the proposition is doing on Win My Vote. I'll also show you a kind of a quick peek at the new version. I hope the screen capture can get it all. So this is what the new version, the new page will look like. And again, the idea behind this is that as a voter, you know, I just want to know all the candidates that are running for lieutenant governor, you know, on my ballot. So I can quickly, you know, go through here and I can say, oh, you know what, I know these people, but I want to learn a little bit about this candidate here. I can click on that candidate and I can see the profile, and then I can, you know, start learning about the candidate. I can scroll down the About Me on the issues. I can click here on the sub-issues and what they have to say about it. And this one is for the record. It's a little bit of a kind of like if you're going to defend yourself or you want to go after the other candidate, we're going to try to isolate it to one tab here. And again, I can kind of follow that saga if I want. And then I can also go to endorsements, and I can see the endorsements this way. And you know, I can go down and see all the groups and organizations real quickly, and click on them, and you know, continue going through and clicking on those. And then I say, okay, this is great, and I can favorite the candidate. And when I go back to my ballot, you know, you can see here that this candidate is kind of has the green star and the green border, so I can pick them out pretty quickly. And then let's say I go down here, I already know I like this candidate for Attorney General. There's some new people here. I want to know about the Justice Democrat, so I can click on her, and then I can go through that same process. So that's sort of the short version. There's a lot of other features. I could go equally long video on trusted sources and how they go about making endorsements and reaching out to their voters, and then managing, you know, those endorsements as well. But I'll leave it at this, and look forward to talking with you. Thanks. Bye.